Volodymyr Zelenskyy left the White House sooner than expected, after he arrived to meet the US President Donald Trump. Two leaders were set to officially sign the so-called Minerals Deal Framework Agreement during their meeting. However, while in the Oval Office, Zelenskyy and Trump debated on several topics, including possible negotiations with Russia. As the US Vice President stressed that Trump is showing the real diplomacy to end the war, Zelenskyy asked him what diplomatic measures could help if Moscow had repeatedly violated ceasefire agreements.
I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about?
Meanwhile, the US president stressed several times that Ukraine is not in a strong position, adding that Zelenskyy is gambling with World War III.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now,
Trump reiterated his stance on European and NATO involvement, while Zelenskyy pressed for unwavering US commitment. Meanwhile, some of the European leaders have already made statements in support of Ukraine. The Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk on his X page addressed President Zelenskyy and all the Ukrainians, stating that they are not alone. The Estonian foreign minister underlined that Estonia's support to Ukraine remains unwavering and it's time for Europe to step up. The Spanish Prime Minister also stated that Spain stands with Ukraine. The French President Emmanuel Macron told Reuters in Lisbon that there is an aggressor, which is Russia, and there is an aggressed people, which is Ukraine. At the same time, on his X page, Volodymyr Zelenskyy thanked the United States, its president, Congress, and all the American citizens. He stressed that Ukraine needs a just and lasting peace, and they are working exactly for that. Ukrainian Air Defense reveals using interceptor drones to target Russian Shahed-type suicide UAVs. This was announced by the commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces, Colonel Vadim Sukharevsky, in an interview with Liga.net Media. Sukharevsky stated that the Unmanned Systems Forces is the first and only asymmetrical unit in the world that has already changed war doctrine, from deep strikes targeting oil refineries in Russia to now taking down Russian suicide drones with FPV interceptors. At the moment, the Unmanned Systems Forces are scaling up and planning ahead, despite everything, to outpace Russia in the warfare tech race, while saving lives in the process. The Defense Intelligence of Ukraine shared footage of an air raid near Pokrovsk. According to a Telegram post published on Thursday, the Nemesis UAV unit conducted a search and destroy mission. The unit managed to spot 19 Russian artillery guns, wiping out 12 and damaging 7 using a heavy-shot drone. Additionally, 10 Russian soldiers were eliminated and 22 wounded as a result of the air raid, reported the DIU. US President Donald Trump and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met at the White House for their first in-person talks since Trump's election. Starmer became the second European leader to meet with Trump this week, following French President Emmanuel Macron. The talks between Trump and Starmer in particular touched on a possible peace agreement as well as military aid to Ukraine.
I had historic back-to-back calls with President Putin, very successful calls, I might add, and President Zelenskyy, and my team also spoke with the Secretary General of NATO on numerous occasions, and we're working very hard to get that war brought to an end. I think we've made a lot of progress, and I think it's moving along pretty rapidly.
The British Prime Minister reaffirmed the UK's unwavering support for Ukraine, underscoring Britain's strong opposition to any settlements that emboldens aggressors like Russia. Starmer stressed that any agreement must be shaped by Ukraine and reinforced with strength to deter future war.
There's a famous slogan in the United Kingdom from after the Second World War. That is that we have to win the peace. And that's what we must do now. We've discussed a plan today to reach a peace that is tough and fair, that Ukraine will help shape, that's backed by strength, to stop Putin coming back for more. And I'm clear that the UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal, working together with our allies, because that is the only way that peace will last.
During their discussions in the Oval Office, Trump stated that he does not think Putin would invade Ukraine again if a peace agreement was reached. However, while asked if the Kremlin leader could be trusted, Trump answered, "Trust and verify."
You know, it's trust and verify, let's call it that. And I think we both can be that way. You have to verify, because you never know what's going to happen.
Trump also claimed he did not recall referring to President Zelenskyy as a dictator.
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that.
Ireland is set to transfer at least 3 of its 7 short-range Giraffe Mark IV radar systems to Ukrainian forces. This decision, part of a package of non-lethal aid, was first reported by the Army Recognition Media on February 24. The system, mounted on a BV-206 tracked vehicle, has a detection range of up to 50 kilometers and can track up to 20 targets simultaneously. The Irish Prime Minister met the Ukrainian President at Shannon Airport during Zelenskyy's brief transit stop to the US, reported the Irish Examiner. Following the meeting, Zelenskyy announced that Ireland will provide Ukraine with the Giraffe systems designed to work alongside RBS-70, RBS-90 and Sky Guard short-range air defense systems. The fight in Ukraine is also the fight for European security, stated the French President Emmanuel Macron. During his visit to the Portuguese Parliament, he underlined that it's existential for the whole of Europe.
Ukraine is indeed a fight for us. It is important for international law, for sovereignty, and it is also the fight for the security of Europeans. It is existential for us, and it is important that President Zelenskyy can explain to President Trump what is at stake at home. And I tried to explain last Monday how important this is for us. But Europeans today must be convinced of one thing: they need more than ever to be united and strong.
Ukrainian Armed Forces blew up a Russian thermobaric ammo storage on Friday in Donetsk region, reports the General Staff of Ukraine. According to the Ukrainian High Command, as well as the ammo cache that went out in a fireball, Ukrainian defenders managed to hit 3 other strategic Russian military locations on the same day. The extent of the damage is still being assessed. Norwegian defense company Kongsberg Defence and Aerospace plans to manufacture missiles for NASAMS air defense systems in Ukraine, aiming to produce them in the hundreds, said company president Eirik Lie to Euractiv in an interview on February 28. According to him, the project involves mass missile production and the potential to set up joint ventures with Ukraine within a few months. The first priority for the company is to increase missile production for the Norwegian air defense systems in Ukraine, based on Ukrainian technology, Lee said on Friday.